So we've now got to number 3 on our big 6 of herbs. This is rosemary. And what I'm showing you here is just how much they like to struggle. It's got an amelia behind it. Just behind me here, we've got a big cypress. It's growing in a really, really tight space. The actual soil is really quite impoverished, but it's wonderful. It's cascading down. This is a prostrate rosemary. And rosemary is the classic herb that we use an awful lot with roast potatoes. Garlic and rosemary with roast potatoes is just divine. We tend to use it quite a lot in our risottos. We use it with a butternut squash risotto. It just adds so much flavour, but like a classic Mediterranean herb, it needs to grow quite tough. Don't cosset these things, they really don't like it. Ever so easy to take cuttings off once you've got one, but like I say, this is a single plant. They're not very long lived, but they do grow quickly. So this is number 3. This is rosemary, really important culinary herb. I'll show you in a second. You know, you can grow it in a pot, but they're never particularly happy. They like their roots to have a big run in really, really poor soil. So as we've seen from that very large rosemary, it's quite happy to grow to quite a large size, but it's very short-lived. And the cuttings are very easy to take. This is a cutting that was taken about 4 to 5 months ago. It's been rooted in 50% grit, 50% loam-based compost to John Innes, and we're actually going to now pop that on into a 12 to 15 inch pot, terracotta because it will drain better. Natural terracotta always drains better than plastic. It's got a mix of 50% grit, 50% loam-based compost John Innes. I'll just show you very quickly here just how gritty that looks. The easiest way to do this is just to use a plant pot of each. So that's your loam-based compost and that's your grit. And just work these together, rub them through your hands. And what's important here is for you to actually see just how gritty this looks. It's incredibly well drained. It's not going to hold any water or any moisture. This is what you would get naturally around the Mediterranean. So for our sage, rosemary, thyme, this is thyme. This is a lemon thyme, which means that the leaves have a slight lemony flavour. It's been growing in this pot for about a year quite happily. You want this really gritty compost, and I keep emphasising this. We're not going to overwater these. So very easily we take this cutting, and as you can see, amazing root system. They have really extensive root systems, these herbs, because they're used to foraging a long distance for their feed. It's why you don't overfeed them. They're used to hunting it out. And basically we'll just water that in and we can leave that. So we can grow rosemary. This prostrate rosemary will just gently cascade over this pot. It'll never get as big as the one we were growing in the wall, but that's rosemary. And we'll go from rosemary on to thyme, which is the 4th of our 5 culinary herbs.